Thanks for tuning in. We've got Wayne Madsen coming up right now. Now, Madsen is, of course, an NSA insider. He's got a lot of information. He's been a frequent guest on this show, and he's been on the money, on the mark, every time with everything that he has said. It's all come out. It's all come true. And he was involved, I believe, in the leaking of information to the press in the EU that recently broke. We'll let him clarify that if I'm wrong, about the U.S. government spying on its own allies, European governments. And there's some controversy about that story, and here to help explain and navigate that is Wayne Madsen himself. Mr. Madsen, welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. It's great to have you back on. Can you hear me, sir? I don't think you can hear me. Can you hear me, Wayne?
I can not hear you, no.
All right, now. All right, good to hear you. Welcome to the show, sir.
Oh, good to be with you.
Good to hear your voice. Now, you've been spot on with your predictions, but tell us what is the deal with, I think, The Guardian pulling its story that it initially published announcing that the U.S. government was spying on its European allies. What's the story behind that story?
Well, the story behind the story, unfortunately, what I told the Observer, and that's a sister newspaper, The Guardian, they're owned by the same company. I told the reporter for the Observer, I said, look, German Chancellor Merkel and French President Hollande are crying about the fact that this cable tap was discovered because of the Ed Snowden revelations on the transatlantic 14 cable that goes from Denmark to the Netherlands, to Germany, to Belgium, to France, and then over to the UK, and then to Tuckerton, New Jersey. They said, oh, you're spying on the communications of German and French citizens. When in fact, both these countries, Germany to a much bigger extent than France, have been engaged in providing signals intelligence data, including information tapped from submarine cables to the NSA for decades, and it hasn't stopped. So, you know, they're crying crocodile tears because what they don't want their own populations to know is that that they themselves are spying on their own citizens, and some of this information, I would suggest a large part of the information, is being sent to NSA that's so overwhelmed with data now they have to build a 17-football field data center in Utah that can handle 1 yottabyte. And don't ask me how many zeros are after that number. 1 yottabyte of data. But this is why what I told the Observer. I gave them 2 declassified documents. I don't have any classified documents. I haven't worked at NSA for a long, long time. But I also know what's declassified and what those documents meant at the time they were still classified. What's
interesting, though, Wayne, is that the things that you've been saying and the declassified documents that you are able to access and acquire, they suddenly have more relevance and context in the context of Ed Snowden going public with his revelations. So now suddenly, are you finding that the press, the mainstream media, is taking you more seriously as well for the things that you've been warning on for years?
Well, to the contrary, yes. Well, now one thing about the Observer, they contacted me. There's been some suggestions that the Observer got their information from another blog. And I gave an interview to the person that runs that blog. That's Simon Davies, an old friend of mine, used to head up Privacy International. I'm still on the International Advisory Board of Privacy International, but we discussed ways to advance this story and show the hypocrisy of the French and the British in this matter. And, the Observer was contacted. I gave an interview to Simon Davies, who put it on the privacysurgeon.com website. And then the Observer called me to verify everything I said, and I did. And they all had these declassified documents. The Observer came back and said, look, we understand that you've written some controversial things in the past. I said, yeah, to say the least. I don't work at NSA anymore. I make my living as a journalist. I do muckraking journalism, and that's very uncomfortable to certain Chardonnay swilling people that inhabit the expensive clubs and restaurants of Manhattan and D.C. But That's what I do for a living. So they were aware of this. They said they ran my quotes to the legal department of the Mail and Guardian corporate parent.
Right.
They signed off on it. The editors signed off on it. And then when the story hits, the Guardian, of course, put it on their website. And then it was on the first edition, the print edition of the Observer, the Sunday Observer.
So why did they pull it off of the online edition then? Well,
they not only pulled it off the online version, but the second print run of the Observer. They dropped my picture on the front page for one of an old and haggard-looking Mick Jagger. But it was too late. And I got a call saying it's too late. The Observer has already it's already running in the presses, and it goes on to the trucks and out to what the British call the news agents. They're those sidewalk stands and the places sell newspapers around Britain. So it was out there, and so it's easy to pull a website, but it's very hard to pull a print edition. You can come out with a new edition. It cost them a lot of money to do this. Why did they do it? I have to figure that I created a firestorm with my revelations about the Germans and the French, because one of the biggest German newspapers, Die Welt, also put it on their website with a picture of Angela Merkel with me on with my caption underneath of my quote stating that Merkel complaining about spying was like the Inspector Renault in the movie Casablanca complaining that there was gambling going on in Rick's Cafe. I'm shocked to find this gambling. Well, that's what she did.
Picking up where you left off there, my question to you is, why aren't the people of Germany and France thrilled that the NSA is spying on them? Because the NSA should be keeping them safe, just like they do Americans.
Well, that's what's happened. See, a lot of all these arrangements with the Germans and the French and the Dutch and the Danes and everyone else, they were done during the Cold War. But remember what happened. The Soviet Union, which was a much overplayed threat, during the Cold War, disappears, and they need a new enemy. And it became terrorism, specifically global jihadist terrorism. Yeah. And, let's not talk about who has funded these terrorist groups over the years. Al-Qaeda, which was organized by the CIA to fight the Soviets. The Taliban was organized by the CIA to fight the other Afghan factions. So the Muslim Brotherhood was started by British intelligence and then started working for the American intelligence. Our fingerprints are all over these groups, but they serve the purpose of providing that enemy, that suspicious, mysterious enemy that the governments need to basically cow their populations, make them live in a state of fear.
Just like out of 1984. Yeah. Is there any indication that the Observer/Guardian is going to reinstate that story, or are they now too afraid to actually print the truth on this topic?
Well, what happened was after they printed the story, and as I said, this was vetted. My past as a journalist was well known to them. People who say they didn't bother checking Google, of course they check Google. I mean, this is a major paper, major media operation that happens to own two newspapers, The Guardian and The Observer. But what happened was, I think certain European politicians and the Obama administration got nervous that the emperor has no clothes. They're not spying on terrorism. They're, as a matter of fact, you hear Merkel and Hollande complaining about the Americans are spying on us during sensitive EU-American trade negotiations. Aha, that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. That they're afraid we're going to get a leg up on them on trade negotiations. In other words, Merkel cares more about Volkswagens coming to the United States and Hollande about French brie sales to the United States than they are the spying on their own people.
Sure, right.
It all boils down to.
Always the case.
And these two phonies, Hollande and Merkel, think that they can get away with this, crying these crocodile tears. They after they're kicked out of office, they ought to go on, their own television networks on
theater.
on soap operas.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
The great.
they really, it's a great act they put on.
They have the acting experience. Let me get your take on this, and then we'll go to some calls for you, Wayne. The Register has announced that the Department of Defense is setting up a sentient world PSYOP simulator. That's a massive computer system that simulates the decision process of all individuals on the planet. And it even simulates media outlets and utilities and financial institutions and so on. It's going to use this to test PSYOPs to see how the population might react. What do you think about this, this PSYOP simulator?
Well, it makes the movie The Matrix, look like a documentary of future events.
Right.
I mean, you know, this is our money being wasted on this crap. That's the only that's the only word I can use to describe it. You know, PSYOP simulators. What's the matter with the real PSYOP people? All the sock puppets, some of which attacked me immediately. By the way, I think part of what the Guardian, you know, and the Observer, what they reacted to was this same group that went after Dan Rather. You remember? They're sitting there ready and waiting to go after people. They dig. Well, this is real PSYOPs, but I guess these people, you know, they have to take a break sometimes. They got to eat. They got to go to the bathroom. So it's better, I guess, for these intelligence agencies to have, you know, some mechanism that doesn't take potty breaks and breaks and smoke breaks.
Well, right. And it's faster. I mean, they can test something and see how they think it might operate before they actually try a rollout.
Exactly. But look, you know, if the American public, you know, I love, you know, Rand Paul. He talks about how the government wastes money on robotic squirrels and the mating habits of you know, bumblebees and all this other stuff. But the American people knew some of the garbage that the intelligence community has wasted their money on.
Oh yeah,
more outraged. But isn't it funny? The intelligence community and military don't come under the austerity cuts as much as, you know, some of the other agencies do.
Well, no.
Some of them provide services, but, you know, for example, the Air Force paid a guy $50,000 to come up with a feasibility study for a Star Trek transporter device. Did he get the information? He got it from a Trekkie website and sold it to the Air Force for
$50,000.
Hey,
we should get into that racket, huh? Let's take some phone calls.
Has remote viewers, you know, clairvoyants that go.
That's right.
You know, talk to dead people. You know, you know. Can I say?
Yeah. Well, maybe those are the people that have the secrets, but they've been killed. And
I'd like to ask Richard Nixon if they have that capability. You know, how screwed up things are today, because even Nixon would be shaking his head over this this mess.
Yeah. Well, if you walk into the NSA headquarters and you got a bunch of guys with their hands on Ouija boards, then something's definitely wrong with the intelligence community. Let's go to a caller, Frank in North Carolina. Frank, welcome to the show. You're on with Wayne Madsen. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, order out of chaos. Their order.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry, my phone is just starting to go a little bit bad here. I'll make it quick. My source on this is one individual. He says he's received warnings from two individual insiders, one in military intelligence, I believe, and another one in law enforcement, I believe. David Laurie Vanderbeek, he's running for governor. I'm not sure if you guys have talked about this yet, but he sounds pretty intelligent, legitimate patriot. He says he's got these two guys that have warned him of a possible false flag attack on the Scout Jamboree on the grounds of the Bechtel Reservation in West Virginia beginning July 15th, possibly a bioterrorist false flag attack. He claims that the governor of West Virginia has already stated secretly that this area is under martial law.
All right. Well, good call, Frank. We don't want to put words into the mouth of the governor there, but it's a legitimate question. What do you think, Wayne, of the possibility of upcoming false flags?
Well, listen, after what happened at the Social Democratic Youth Camp in Norway outside of Oslo, you know, with Breivik, I wouldn't send any kids to these jamborees and these camp meetings, that especially the ones that have a lot of public attention, media attention. I just don't think we can do it anymore. Not because I'm afraid of Joe Jihadi out there setting off a bomb, but as the caller said, there are these too many anomalies with some of these attacks.
Like Boston Marathon bombing, total drill.
I won't even get into all the other. I know there's a lot of logistics questions on the ground, but the fact is that the Uncle Ruslan, is more tied up with the CIA.
We got to go to break, Wayne. Sorry to interrupt you there, but stay with us. We'll be right back after this break. More with Wayne Madsen and your calls straight ahead. This is the Alex Jones Show. Hi, this is Mike Adams, the Health Ranger, with some news about some new additions to the InfoWars store. You know, good health is freedom. When you're healthy, you're not a slave to the medical system. Everything works well, your brain, your body, even your spirit. You're a healthier person. And to help support that great health, Alex has asked me to source the cleanest, most potent superfoods and other similar products in the world and bring them to the InfoWars store. So we've done that. The brand name is Health Ranger Select, and we're starting out right now with these 3 products. We've got Himalayan salt from Pakistan, formed hundreds of thousands of years ago in an ancient seabed long before modern pollution destroyed much of the oceans. This is loaded with trace minerals, and it's pristine, true, full-spectrum sea salt. We've also got Natural Attitude Turmeric. It's an extract of turmeric, very potent, tastes great, alcohol-free. This is from organic turmeric out of India. And we've also got Clean Chlorella. And we sourced and did research on all the chlorella sources around the world, and we found the 2 cleanest sources that have the lowest levels of any kind of contaminants. In fact, this one is virtually free of all metals and all contaminants. It's called Clean Chlorella, and it's about 2/3 protein, and it's got chlorophyll and chlorella growth factor in it. Check it out online. It's an amazing superfood that athletes are using and people are using to help support healthy lifestyles. It's fantastic. This is all packaged in our certified organic facility here in Central Texas. There we follow USDA certified standards, and we're audited every year by the USDA certifier to make sure that we comply with all organic standards. That, combined with the fact that we only source super clean superfoods and raw materials from around the world, means that our products represent the cleanest and most potent products that you'll find across the natural products industry. Check all of these out under the Health Ranger Select brand name at the InfoWars store, InfoWarsStore.com. And we'll be bringing you more of these in the near future. Thanks and take care. Yeah, welcome back. We're interviewing former NSA insider Wayne Madsen, who is the source behind some of the documents that resulted in a Guardian story that was then yanked off the web because it made some people nervous. You know, in our world today, people who tell the truth are the most viciously attacked. If you lie to everybody, oh, you got it made. You know, you can host a show on CNN. You know, your business is going to get government grants. If you're a big fat liar, you know, no problem. You got it made. But if you tell the truth, oh no, you're going to have struggle. You're going to have to work your way and actually fend off criticism and attacks. And that's the situation that most of us are in, who are truth tellers, including Wayne Madsen. Wayne, we're going to take a couple more calls here with you, but on that last point, do you even pay any attention to the critics? Because I don't have time with it. But how do you deal with the criticism?
I did this morning. I had to fire off some rebuttals to some people who pretend that they're journalists, and had to point out the background of these people. There's one guy who writes for the Daily Beast. Now, let's remember what the Daily Beast is. You know, the editor is Tina Brown, this doyen of the British Fleet Street circuit, and now more lately of the Manhattan Chardonnay swilling crowd. The Daily Beast bought Newsweek from the Washington Post Company a couple years ago for $1. Okay,
right. I remember that. $1.
That's what the combined media operations of the Daily Beast and Newsweek are worth. $1. I would say that that's overly inflated. But so there's a guy there named Michael Moynihan. Now this guy, he was a struggling journalist in the United States, and he went where every struggling journalist goes to make a name for themselves: Stockholm, Sweden. Oh, you know, I mean, so he gets tied up with a think tank over there called Timbro that's been linked to Karl Rove, the wonderful Karl Rove. You know, this guy's a hack. He's a political party hack for the GOP. He's not a journalist, so he goes on a vicious attack, suggests that, you know, the Observer never even contacted me, which
well, let's not give him any more attention. The fact is, all of us who tell the truth are going to be just routinely attacked. It just goes with the territory. Let's take a call. Let's go to Chris in Kentucky. Chris, you're on the show. Welcome to the Alex Jones Show. Wayne Madsen is our guest. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you very much. Wayne, I want to thank you, first of all, real quick. Thank you for being a patriot and standing up. My question is, these new phones that are coming out, is this going to be data? You move it with your eyes. You can move the web page with your eyes. And can they take a retina scan of your eyes and database it in the NSA? Have you had any information about that?
Well, look, let me tell you what the NSA has. They have there's a group in the DOD called the DOD Advanced Research Projects Agency. As a matter of fact, what we know about metadata and PRISM was originally a project under Homeland Security and DARPA, the Defense Advanced Research Project Agency. It was called Total Information Awareness System. That. It was headed up by none other than disgraced retired Admiral John Poindexter of Iran-Contra infamy. You know, these people never go away. They never go away. So anyway, now it's known as PRISM. But NSA, and it's mostly through their R&D division there, they're always looking at the next phases. They always say, oh, we can't keep up with technology. One thing we know about the intelligence community is they drive technology. Google got its seed money from where? The CIA.
Yeah, the internet came out of DARPA. I mean,
Oracle was once the name of a CIA project on a relational database system. Now it's a big company.
We're going to go to break again, Wayne. Will you stay with us for one more segment?
Absolutely.
All right.
Now you can watch Alex Jones live at Infowars.com/show.
You'll find links to all of our content there and a free 15-day trial for Prison Planet TV.
You can also browse the network, the Infowars Nightly News,
and over 60 movies and documentaries all together in one place.
You can watch the Alex Jones Radio Show live as it happened.
So check it out, Infowars.com/show.
We've got Wayne Madsen continuing with us for the next 5 minutes, plus callers on the line. This is Mike Adams filling in for Alex Jones. You are in the right place if you're tuning in to the Alex Jones Show, so welcome. This is, what is this, the third hour already? How could it be? Time flies when you're being spied on. So, Wayne, there was a caller that Alex was unable to get to, I think, yesterday that had a question for you. The caller was asking, can we somehow flip the surveillance technology back onto the government? Is there a way that the citizens can monitor the government and actually create the transparency that presidents always promise but never deliver? Is that possible?
Well, I think Ed Snowden has shown it is possible. But unfortunately for him, he's wound up as an international pawn, with Vladimir Putin today saying, you know, he can stay in Russia as long as he stops making these revelations. Another person over there said he's applied for asylum in 15 countries. He's really going to wind up like a CIA whistleblower from a few decades ago named Phil Agee. Phil Agee traveled on a Grenada passport, a Nicaraguan passport, before he settled down with a German passport.
Wow.
He did eventually come back to the United States after they decided they weren't going to arrest him. But, you know, that's the life he's faced. But any whistleblowers do that. That's what they're trying to expose the government's, you know, their wrongdoings. But look at the price they paid. They've been put in jail. They've had guns drawn on them in the shower. They've lost fortunes. Their retirement nest eggs have disappeared with legal fees.
Sure.
So this is what happens to the whistleblowers.
But what if we had an initiative where we put webcams in all the offices of all government employees so that the public can log in and see what your tax dollars are doing at that moment?
You wouldn't see much. You'd see a lot of government employees sleeping or going down to fetch these styrofoam boxes full of food. They're like ants, you know. They go back and forth to the cafeterias in their federal buildings, and they're extremely obese people. I suggested to one group one time. I was in an elevator at the GSA building in D.C., and the elevator didn't move, and there were 3 rather obese persons on there, and I suggested that maybe they should take the freight elevator instead.
Oh, my.
Food. They were hauling food. This is what you would see in any given federal problem.
Well, I thought I was being politically incorrect, and here you go, breaking a new omen for us there, Wayne.
Well, I'm sorry, but that's how the government really works.
Yep. So we don't want those webcams that might be too horrifying for us.
Yeah, they would be horrifying. But look, today, you can get arrested for taking a photograph of a federal office building. If
I know.
You know, so lots of luck getting a webcam inside. You can't even get a camera on the outside.
Yeah, but don't we have the right? I mean, we're paying their salaries. We should have the right. Let's go to another caller, though. Habu in Wisconsin. Habu, welcome to the Alex Jones Show. You're on with Wayne Madsen.
Yeah, hello, Mike Adams and Wayne Madison. You know, just as an aside, I hope you people in Austin take up the case of the Justin Carter kid who is facing lengthy sentences just for putting some just kidding posts on Facebook. But anyway, Mr. Madison, may I ask you this for a couple of quick questions? Do you recommend people adding all these kind of tags, which would catch the emails, and if 100 million people of us did it, would it jam up the system?
Oh, the keyword tags. We only have 45 seconds. Go ahead, Wayne.
Simple answer: no. They've got all kinds of algorithms that look at context and other words, so they've figured that out. That was
keywords
years ago when Echelon was outed. People decided to do that, and it did not affect their system whatsoever.
Wayne, what's your website?
It is WayneMadsonReport.com, and anyone can go to the homepage and read about what happened with the Observer, the Guardian, and with links to the original documents that I provided them.
All right, WayneMadsonReport.com, and Madsen is spelled M-A-D-S-E-N. Madsen, 2 syllables in that name. WayneMadsonReport.com. Thank you, Wayne, for joining us on the show today.
You bet.
Our viewers have demanded it, so now you're gonna get it. More pro-Second Amendment gun shows in the month of June.
What we've learned is you cannot hide behind an I-beam when there's a 50 cal present.
Brothers in Arms, 50 cal ammo review, and more. Coming in the month of June to the InfoWar.